What subtle ways am I giving away my freedom without even realizing it? We can all do something that makes a difference in our own lives for our own freedom. Because for me, freedom is important. It's the most important thing. I don't want to be surveilled. We're all under a certain amount of surveillance already. And I don't like that. So I'm going to do everything I can to maintain my sovereignty and my freedom. And in the meantime, I'm going to be a little bit amused by stuff so that I don't dive into despair or victimhood. Okay, so this is where it led into the next one. You are not a victim, you are a creator. I say this all the time. I say this in almost every Sunday message that I jump on. We can choose to be a victim or we can choose to be a creator. Here's the thing we need to realize, that real pain does exist. Okay, but the story we have, it doesn't have to stop at the pain. The pain that we have, the pain that we feel, we don't have to stop our story there. When you dive into victim mentality, you are stopping your story at pain. It doesn't have to be that way. This is what I believe happens to people that dive and stay in victimhood. This is where it feels comfortable for them. It feels comfortable, and maybe they get attention, or maybe that's just their comfort zone. So our power begins when the excuses end. This is where we get to until you realize this and start really shrugging off the victim cloak, you don't really understand how you're giving your power away. So here's a couple of questions to ask yourself. Am I living like life is happening to me or through me? Life is happening through me. It's not happening to me. I get to make the choices. I get all the choices. Even when something bad happens, I get to choose how I respond to it. Always, in every situation. It does not matter what it is or how hard it is. We get to choose. We are the ones. And then the second question, what am I avoiding by staying in the victim mentality? What is it that I'm avoiding? Do I not want to take radical responsibility for myself, my choices, my decisions, the way my life turns out? You need to ask yourself that question. Then the next thing we need to remember, and again, I love this and I say it all the time, but it's so true. You are a divine spark. Pure consciousness, pure love. Every day we forget it. And sometimes I would tell you, it gets easier and easier and easier when you just walk in that and that every situation. In fact, here's something, this is so silly. So I have my teapot, this electric teapot. It sits on the counter in the corner of the kitchen. We have this nice big kitchen. There's 2 or 3 corners and a big center island. And in one corner that's been mine for years and years and years, my electric teapot lives there, and all my vitamins live there, and my supplements and stuff. And so I choose from during the day. It's a perfect place for it. Well, earlier this week, my husband, we got a new juicer, and it lived next to one of the other appliances on the counter next to my teapot, just for the couple of days that we had it. And then my husband this week he unplugged my teapot and moved it to the other side of where this is my routine, these are where my vitamins are, this is my corner. And this is the interesting thing. Not too long ago, I would have been totally bothered by that little thing. And he just said, he didn't even ask me, I'm moving your teapot over to this side, to this plug, because now that we have this new juicer, there's no room for your teapot, it's awkward. And I was like, okay. I mean, I know that is a very simple example of something that could, it's reached this point where you just realize, what does it matter? And what does it matter? I'm so lucky I have this beautiful new juicer and I have this amazing electric teapot. You can go into grateful mode over victim mode every day of the week. I'm not quite sure how I got that out of we are a divine spark of pure consciousness and pure love. But we need to realize we're not broken and we're not just this body. We are eternal presence in this suit, this meat suit, this physical body. We are an eternal presence. and how easily we forget. We were born worthy, and we remain so always, regardless of what we've done or not done.